I have an idea. So there's this old fella that came out here, and I cut down a bunch of pine trees out here, and this guy, he must have been 80 years old, really good guy. He had a sawmill, and he offered to drag away 116-foot logs. I mean, I cut down a lot of these pine trees. And he offered to drag them away for free if he could have them, because he had a sawmill. And he brought some slabs of wood over, and this is a piece of, the kind of tree is called catalpa. And I remember when I was a kid, my grandmother had a catalpa tree, and it was very, very big and shady. It had long green, looks like green beans that come off of it in the summertime. Really just a neat tree. I always remembered the name catalpa. However, he gave me these slabs, and they're very light, very dry, and I like the live edge, so I'm thinking about using this oddly shaped board as one of my shelves inside the hive, just because it looks neat. So I may do that. He also gave me a really big piece. I can cut that up and use that for shelves as well. Good idea. Heck, let's have a look. See what we can do here. Give it a shot. That'll be one side. Let's measure this inside of this cabinet. Now the key is to be able to get this in that box squarely and still get our measurement of 14 3/4. See if we can do that. Put one square there. Make sure that we're square. Another square there. That should give us a square board. Give her a cut. Ooh, it's going to be tricky too. Get it lined up on here properly. All right, we only get one shot at this. Let's see if it works. Let's see if both of our edges are square. That is perfect. That will make a beautiful shelf. Nice live edge shelf. Beautiful. Beautiful. We actually have enough of this log for one more. Except this time we're going to flip it this way so we can match the curve. Alright, so now it's time to think about the shelf configuration. I think I'm going to use these live edge catalpa. Here and here. Use them up at the top. So let's go ahead and get that glued in. Beautiful. I'm going to use this board. Do I want to use this board? I'm going to use this board. Beautiful. I'll go in there. There's a place for the smoker. Actually, there's a place for 2 smokers, which is good. I'll put my hopper down here, and this will be more storage. My brush can hang there. Hive tool can hang here. My other brush can hang here. Storage. I think that's perfect. Oh, lovely. All right, so we are coming along. Some shelves in there, live edge. I think that's really neat. Now we have to make some room to hang everything, and we have to make a hopper or a bin to hold the dry pine needles. Let's get to it. Okay, so now we have 3 of the shelves put in, a place for the smoker, a place for all of the tools. But what I need to do is I need to create a hopper or a bin down in the bottom to put dry pine needles material for the smoker. And this last box is what I'm going to use. So what I need to do is I need to create a small box that is 8.5 inches wide. This is 3/4 inch pine. So I'm just going to cut this box. It's 7 3/4 right here. And then I'll just pull it together. It'll look silly. Maybe that'll give me like a little handle. We'll see. I'm not worried about it looking silly. I'm worried about it working. So let's have a go at it. Maybe I'll clean it up and put another face board on the front of it. Let's cut it. Right, a little glue. All right, let's see what we can do here. So now that I've got better light, let's take a look at what we've got going on here. I've got 2 natural edge shelves that we've built out of catalpa wood that are going to sit in here and hold some of our stuff. We've got a bin or a hopper that will hold our pine needles, straw, and whatnot. Our smoker will fit into the side right there. And I've got a second smoker. This should handle 2 of them. Now I need to find a place for my brush. Now the door is going to open this way, and I'm going to want to find my brush somewhere in here. Brush, hive tool, brush. Gloves can live up there. Entrance reducers. Got several of those. We'll get those later. They can live down on that shelf. Markers for Mark of the Queen live there. Corks live there. I still have to come up with a home for this. Here we go. What else do I need to take with me down to the bee yard? Maybe a jar feeder. Another pair of gloves. Entrance reducers. Maybe a spare hat. Here we go. Now we need to think about the door. First, let's get our lid. So when it's done, this is what it's going to look like. But now I've got to put a hinge on this door. I'm also going to put a hinge on the back so that you have to lift this before you can open the door. And I'm also going to put 2 strips down the side so that when I close the door, it pinches tightly in between. It kind of gives it a compression fit. I want it to be tight, and I don't want to have any visible latch on the outside. Let's get going. What do you know? My neighbor comes to the rescue again. This is wood that my neighbor had given me. It's excellent wood. Let me give you a little update on my Gorilla Glue. It appears that every time I stop with my glue, it continues to flow, and it's flooding everywhere, so thumbs down on the Gorilla Glue. I want my Tite Bond back. So there you go. It's the end of our first day. I will come down tomorrow. We will hinge the top, put on the door after it's dry, get a pretty good idea of where we're going here. I think it's kind of neat. See you tomorrow. All right, all right, all right. It is a new day. I've even combed my hair today. The goal, I think, for today is I want to get these hinges installed on the door, install the door on the cabinet, and then possibly hinge the roof. I really haven't decided how I'm going to put the roof on yet. I don't know whether I'm going to put hinges in the back and let the roof open up. I don't know whether I'm going to put compression hinges on the cabinet. That's something like you would have in a cedar chest where you open the lid and it'll stay until you push it down. Or I may, and I've had this idea, I have this copper tube, well, it's brass tubing. What I'm thinking about doing is cutting a segment of it, installing it back here in the back of the lid, or installing it through the box itself, and then drilling a hole through the lid and running a dowel through this tube, and then have this actually be my hinge. The only problem is the dowel's not very sturdy, so we'll see. But before we go here, we have to go here. This is number 1. Actually, this is number 2. The first thing I'm going to do is open the shop door because it's a foggy day outside, but it's not raining, so at least I can see outside. At least we can hear the birds chirping. Maybe I'll burn up some more scrap wood. Try to get my fire going again. What a soggy mess. All right, let's see what we can do here. See how this works out. Have to be careful not to go too deep, because I don't want to wreck the facade of this being a beehive. However, in order to get these hinges to work, unless I want to go buy hinges, which I don't want to do, I just want to use what I have, you're going to see a little bit of the hinge on the outside of the box. Beautiful. Right, so there's that. Let's drill some holes and put some screws in there. All right. Now let's take a look here. So we know where the hinges are going to go. So we'll throw one in right here. Let's cross our fingers. So you will see hinges on this box. It won't be too awfully bad. At first blush, it's still going to look like a beehive. And that's what we're going for. Beautiful. Just what we need. Now, I've got to think about this roof. All right, I've got 3 small hinges left, 1 big hinge. I've got to decide what I'm going to do about the roof. What am I going to do about the roof? Now, one thing I could do is I could fasten the roof on here permanently and cut my door right here so that the door opens under the lip of the roof. And then I would never have to worry about opening this up. The problem is I want to use my roof to help hold the door shut because I do not want to latch on the outside of this box. Although that may be inevitable because I do want to make sure that this is watertight, and I just thought about it. Rainwater could seep down through there, and I really don't want that to happen. I think I wish I had a steel rod. I wish I had a steel rod. Let me look and see if I can find a steel rod. You never know. I may have one. All right, believe it or not, I found a steel rod that fits inside of this brass pipe. So now I just have to think about how I want the mechanism to work. I think what I'm going to do is I place the lid right where I want it. I will drill a hole into the side of this lid on both sides, right here and right here, and the hole will extend into the hive. So go through the outer cover, the lid, through the hive. On the wall of the hive inside, I will place a piece of this tubing. Then I will take this rod and cut it down so that it is just short of both ends of the roof. Then I will put a spacer to fill the gap, which is looks like about 1/8 inch on either side of the roof to remove the play side to side. And that should build me a hinge. Now, it's not going to stay up by itself. I could build a kickstand if that's something I need, but I really just need to be able to do this. Lift it up and then open it. You know what? I am going to need a kickstand. Well, we'll see. I think that's the solution. So I have to decide where the fulcrum's going to be. Where's the tipping point going to be? I need to find out it's going to be right there. That won't work because when I do that, it's going to try to lift the hinge. So it's going to have to be as close to this corner as possible. Probably right about there. That's not going to work either. This may not work. Problem is, when I lift that, the whole hive is lifting. All right, how are we going to do this? Okay, well, wait a second. Need to be down here. That's the ticket. Okay. Found the solution. All right, this is temporary. Let's make sure that that doesn't look too obvious that it's on an angle. And it doesn't, you can barely tell. What that is going to do, after I drill this hole and put this hinge together, I will take that piece of wood out, and that will allow this lid to open and shut without shifting. That is the ticket. 3 in from the back and 3/4 up. That should give me the area I think I need to be. All right, bravery test. See what happens. All right, bravery test number 2. Measure 5 times, drill once. And let's do it. All right, here we go. Oh, let's cut that. Instant hinge. That compressor comes on at the most inopportune moments. But it beats the old-fashioned way of putting every nail in by hand. So I'm not going to complain too much about it. What I am going to complain about is my eyeballs. Getting old is terrible. Well, let me rephrase that. Parts of getting old is terrible. Some parts are rather nice. I mean, when I was 18, would I have ever had bees? No. We tend to expand our worldview and our horizons as we get older, which in some ways gives us an advantage over those youngsters. The only problem is that things start to hurt. When you're a youngster, things are always hurting emotionally. As you get older, things start to hurt physically. Emotionally, you just don't care. Alrighty. So far, so good. Beautiful. Let's see if this contraption works. Now let's see if this works. That is precisely what we want. A wise man once said, exactamundo. And unless you're my age, or maybe a little younger, you don't know what that means. Well, you may know what it means, but you don't know who said it. Some of you know who said it. That is beautiful. All right. That is it with this build. All I have left to do, I'll put some spacers up in here to get rid of the slop going back and forth. But all I've got left to do is sand, stain, and finish this thing, and then it's going to live in the bee yard. And I'm going to be using it. It's going to be like magic. For you, it's going to be like that fast before you see it. For me, I've got another week or two worth of work here. See you in a minute.